What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a two-penny Gamescast review, this time for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and Star Wars lover, Connor Elliott. Say hello to the people.
No, not a Star Wars lover. I enjoy Star Wars.
You don't love the Star Wars like me, Connor? I love the Star Wars.
I love Lord of the Rings, the superior franchise.
Oh, I don't know about all that, but we're not talking about today. Today we are talking about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I've been playing it. Connor, you've been playing it. I've beaten the game. I'm 40 plus hours deep. I'm running around currently working on my platinum trophy for the game. Connor, where would you say you are? You're probably from the story checkpoint you just told me. You're probably 15ish.
15ish. Oh, okay.
15, maybe 20, depending on how deep you're in. I was 39 hours when I beat the game. But depending on how much side stuff you're doing, you might get there faster, because I did quite a bit. By the time I rolled credits, there was not a single planet underneath 85% completion. So all of that could change things for you. But ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and just get into my straight up review, thoughts and opinions about it. Star Wars, Jesus Christ, with these naming conventions.
I know, it's a weird one.
There's 2 colons in this name. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a great game. It's a lot of fun. I have had an absolute blast exploring the worlds, fighting the incredible amount of enemy varieties in this game, of the really dialed in combat systems in comparison to the first one, the expansion on exploration. The exploration in this game is really good. I really like exploring and running around the world and finding all the nooks and crannies and stuff. There's been many times where I dip into a little crack in the wall and I enter a new area and I go, oh, I'll just check this out real quick. And then 30 minutes pass, 45 minutes go by, and I go, what the fuck is this place? I really think Jedi Survivor is a really fantastic game, and it once again shows just how great Respawn is. It just, in every element, it was expanded upon and improved. My only real true critique is obviously the technical performance of the game is not great, not even good. In fact, it's kind of bad. And I think the story is a super simple and safe Star Wars story, and it overall fails in order to get me interested in the plight of Cal Kestis, who continues to just kind of be a white bread protagonist that I'm just struggling to find a reason to get invested in his journey. But all of that aside, it has not stopped me from putting over 40 hours into this game, constantly running around, enjoying the combat, enjoying the game feel, enjoying the game design. It really is just a great game. If I were to put a score on it, it's an 8 out of 10 video game that I love, like a 10 out of 10 video game. And it's going to be ranking very, very high in my game of the year list by the time we get to the end of it, if not my game of the year. And then the elephant in the room, the technical issues, they're a mess. In my playthrough, before rolling credits, I experienced 2 crashes, an unbelievable amount of frame rate drops, an unbelievable amount of pop-in, muted textures, ugly textures, lighting glitches, geometry glitches galore. Lots of issues in this game. A lot of times game logic would not progress. Characters would get stuck and not say lines that they're supposed to say. They would not be in places they're supposed to be. And it was really, it was never game breaking. I'll say that, but it was always just a little annoyance as I was running around having a great time with the gameplay. After rolling credits, the game seems to have only gotten worse, because now I'm rocking a solid 25 frames per second when in the bigger environments of the game. I've had 3 more crashes, all within the same play session post credits, and the pop-in has lessened, but the overall game performance has lessened as well. So I've had multiple updates which did seem to improve performance, but I've still having a cornucopia of issues with the game, and that's really unfortunate because I really do love it. I love all of the new saber stances. They're fantastic. As soon as I got the new ones, I put the old ones away. I never touched them. Like literally, like the second I got the third one you get is the dual wield. I never got off of that. And then the my favorite is the one saber and the blaster. I love that. And unfortunately, the game only lets you do two, and I love those two so much that even though I wasn't expecting the crossguard to be one that I enjoyed, but my limited time with it, I did enjoy it a lot. It felt really good. But I can only have two at a time, and I focused on my main two, which is the dual wielding and the saber and the blaster, which I adore. I played a majority of this game with the saber and blaster. It's so good.
You made it seem like that was your favorite when you were talking about it.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. But Connor, I wanna hear about your experience with the game. What is your review of Star Wars Jedi Survivor?
Well, if it wasn't mentioned before, if I missed it, both of us played on PS5. So the breadth of the technical issues have existed on PC. They exist both places, but if you go on Steam, I don't know if the reviews are still the same, but it was mostly negative due to the fact they had so many technical problems. Which, to start off with, I want to start off with that because I really do like the game a lot. I'm pretty much in the same exact space as you. I wouldn't say I enjoy it like a 10 out of 10 game because certain, not really for any actual particular reason. One thing that I absolutely love about this game, and it's something I usually criticize all the time, is the traversal. This is some of the most fun I've had traversing any kind of area in a long while. Climbing especially. I do not like when games are super slow with it, when they do things to mess you up and make you go, whoa, I'm almost going to fall. This game doesn't do either of those things. It makes you do it efficiently, but it also intersperses it with things like wall running, which was in the original game. A new, I don't believe it was in the original one, a dash option that you can dash.
The dash
while
was
you're
not.
there. Yeah,
No.
I did not think it was, which, usually it's mainly used as a form to get around certain shortcuts that open up in the game after you get that ability, but it's fun to do. It's fun to get from place to place, and other situations where you usually wouldn't have to use it, traversal once again just becomes a little bit easier and a little bit more fun to watch and do when you're able to do those dashes. Movements, it's a tricky part to get in games, and this one does it perfectly. Same thing with the combat, the styles that you were talking about, the variety of enemies, which, one of the things I was hopeful for before this game came out, after my experience with the first game, what was it called again? I get so mixed up with this one's name.
Jedi Fallen Order was the first.
Fallen Order was it? Yeah, Fallen Order. It had a lot of areas to improve: combat, enemy types, story. Unfortunately, the story, I'd say it's better, but it's not exactly as good as it could have been. Especially with how the last game left off, with there being a wide breadth of things you could do with it. But the combat certainly had major improvements due to those, 3 extra ways to use your lightsaber, which in my instance, I used the dual wielding, which is just, it really is just a nice tool that's universal. It's good in pretty much any combat situation, which ideally is what the one lightsaber, the single-handed one, would fulfill. But I never really felt the need to go back to it like you. The moment I got the dual wielding, I only use that. The blaster stance, I like it, but I'm not that good with it. So, and it's not my usual style of playing the game. So, unfortunately, I had to pass on that for the cross.
Those Bloodborne roots didn't translate?
Oh. No, it did not. It definitely did not. Is there a parrying option at some point that you can unlock? I haven't looked into the skills.
With the blaster, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll like, as they come into attack, you blast them, and lower enemy. It will always send them back and knock them on their ass. But lower class enemies, it's a one-hit kill.
Yeah, but it's the crossguard, just that slow, almost like, I kind of compare it to a strength build in Elden Ring, because that's always in my mind. And how you get a lot slower, but you do a lot more stamina damage and a lot more damage in general, which is nice because some bosses in the game, they feel like they can kind of take a lot of hits, but the crossguard, at least in my mind, probably functionally doesn't change much, but it makes me feel like I'm doing, the pace is a lot better when I'm using this higher damage weapon, even though it is a lot slower. But, you really have to time when you're going to strike with that lightsaber. Because other games, Elden, you obviously attack slower with heavier strength weapons, but you're not always attacking that slow. In this one, I really feel like I'm going slow, but the payoff is really there in terms of the damage to stamina and to health. So that really, it really was effective in changing up the pace of the game as opposed to the first one. Man, those bosses, they can be tough.
They go there.
Especially the random ones you find around the map. These the legendary creatures.
The beasts in this game are ridiculous, and I don't know why so many of them have one-hit kills. Like,
it happened to me with Rancor. I was like, wait, I'm dead.
You're dead. Yeah, Rancor will kill you instantly. Like if between he's a high damage enemy, which I was expecting. But like there's straight up a move that is a one-hit kill, and if you get hit by it, you're done. You got to start over. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. I don't love that, and especially because none of the other bosses, none of like the humanoid bosses, none of them have one-hit kills.
Mm-hmm. I did have an instance. I don't know if do you remember this boss called the Mire Terror? It's a dual boss.
It's a dual boss?
Yeah, there's two of them.
Mire
two
Terror.
Beasts.
Two beasts?
I just this speaks to the criticism of the game, but not to me, because what happened was I went to fight this boss that is two enemy types in the game, and it was kicking my ass. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go get my souls or whatever the equivalent of it in this game is. I can't even remember the name.
Gonna go get some skill points.
Skill points, yeah. I went back to get it and I left, and I was gone. And all of a sudden it said, "Objective complete. Mire Terror killed." I'm like, what? And I got the XP for it. I went back and got the stim pack that came with it, and it's just not there anymore. And I thought to myself,
wow.
I don't know how this happened, but hey, got a nice workaround thanks to the game not being completely functional. That's the biggest impact that's happened to me so far, because my game has not crashed. My game has only lowered in flame rate and done that, and had some weird clip-ins with some of the enemies' bodies that are left over after you kill them, which I kind of enjoy that. That's not really a criticism. But,
yeah. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Just free boss kill.
Oh no, I've not had any free boss kills, and I certainly wish I did, because I've definitely been cheated because of frame rate drops or because of glitches and died when I shouldn't have. But again, it never really stopped my enjoyment of the game. I just wish it wasn't there. I'm thoroughly. I really do enjoy the general combat of this game. I think it's much better than the original game, and I think it's I think it's much more dialed in, and it's much closer to, a FromSoft game in terms of like level of balance and level of work. And right here on the screen, Connor, you can't see this because I'm not sharing my screen, but there's a lovely, if you see the TikTok where a Wampa Beast got stuck in a falling animation right now, and I made a joke about the Eminem, everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me.
I did see that.
Yeah, it did that, and I thought that was funny. But the alongside you, like the different stances, the expansion of combat, all the different enemy variety in this game is awesome. So many different enemy types. The inclusion of battle droids and everything that comes with battle droids is awesome. Fans of Clone Wars are going to see a lot of familiar enemies in here. Fans of expanded universe stuff are going to see a lot of really cool things in here. A lot of cool new droids, a lot of cool new beasts and stuff that I don't think we've seen in Star Wars before, but I could be wrong. I'm enjoying all of those. There were moments in the game's story where I was like, oh, this is peak. This is dope. But overall, I just felt it was pretty generic and played it safe in a lot of different ways. The main antagonists of the game are not interesting at all, which is something that I think Fallen Order actually has. It was better in the first game. Like, the antagonists of the second and the fifth sister were intimidating and scary and dope. And then I think the character story they were telling was more interesting in Fallen Order than what they gave us in Survivor. Not to say it was great. I thought it was pretty generic in Fallen Order also. But there were moments where I was like, oh, this is dope Star Wars content. And Survivor has moments of that. And definitely has peaks where I go, oh, this is dope. But it overall just never really steps up in any meaningful way narratively. Every other facet of the game is fantastic, and I cannot wait to play the game again. I can't wait to start my new Journey Plus. I can't wait to start all the way over, which I will probably do in a couple of years when I look back and play this game in anticipation for the next Jedi game. I'm very excited for the next Jedi game. Not so much for story purposes or for the Journey of Cal, but just to see what they add, just to see how they improve it, just to see what they do from here. The
Did a good job from the first one.
Yeah, the customization in this game is amazing. I love it. I so desperately wish this was just a full-on Star Wars RPG with a created character. Like, and I could just make Cal look however I want him to look. But the choice to go with the actor works, and editing the hair, editing the beard, the outfit, the expanded lightsaber customization is great. The working with different colors and textures and materials with the lightsaber is so much fun. Editing the blaster, editing BD1, the breakdown of him, where in the last game you just kind of picked color palettes. This one, like, pick individual colors, have him multiple colored, exchange pieces out on him, like his ears and his head, the back of his head, his body, his legs. Like, all of that is so much fun, and I love it to death so much. I think I finally, just now, post-game, 40-something hours deep, have finally solidified, and I'm like, okay, this is my lightsaber. This is my Cal Kestis. This is my BD1. Like, this is what it finally looks like. Where I was just like, all right, yeah, this is where it's at. And I'm gonna put pictures up on my Twitter after I platinum the game with images of all that. So follow me at Tavin Bothel on Twitter. Link in the description. But yeah, Connor. First, I want to ask, what were the general like customization choices for you? How was your general look? And saber color, man. Where were you going with that?
All right, start with saber color. I kind of switch because there's two that I was kind of really liking. It's the purple, which is what I did in the first game. I always liked the purple color. The other one is cyan. The cool thing about the color cyan, it's a different shade of blue, but the cool thing that it does is depending on where you go, it took on different tones depending on the area you were in. Like sometimes I would go into Jedi temples and it wouldn't look the exact same as it did just out in the sun, which is usually how you picture the lightsaber when you choose the options. I love the customization like you do. It's one of my favorite parts to actually explore it because I know I get to make my lightsaber look like the definitive version because same as you, I constantly change it. I kind of got the color palette down for the most part, but the variety of parts that you can use to customize, it's always just a nice little fun thing. What I really like about this game is the issue that a lot of other ones come across is when you get new equipment, when you get upgrades, it comes in the form of weird, like you do extra damage to this type of enemy, or you do, increased damage or slightly increased. It gets very numbers based. It's very kind of annoying because sometimes you can look at it and say, "What's this exactly changing?"
It'll get very niche, and you're like, "I'll never use that."
Yeah, but this one with the perks, since they are part of the customization, the abilities that you can unlock, they actually have pretty big changes to gameplay for how well your force powers affect bigger enemies. Whether you're
talking the abilities that you acquire, or you're talking the perks,
abilities and perks. It
okay.
all it changes. It's ways to modify how the game works without doing it in that stupid way that so many other games have unfortunately fallen into the pits of doing.
Yeah. It's an easy trap to fall in. I agree with you on the abilities. The abilities, I would look in the skill trees and always be like, oh, I do want that. Oh, I do want to use that. I do want that new force power. I do want to be able to throw both my lightsabers at the same time. But the perks, which is a different subsystem where you have a limited number of perk slots. Perks will cost a different number of perk slots. Like one might be 2, one might be 1 perk slot, one might be 3 perk slots. And you can increase the number of perk slots you have throughout the game. Those, I just kind of set it and forget it. So like I got the perk to like increase my XP, or it was an XP boost, and I just put that on. I was like, yep, I'm doing that. And then I was like, sure, extra damage with the blaster, why not? And then I just like, I don't even know if that's the second one that I have equipped. I don't know what else I have equipped. And then I just set it and I moved on because I was like, yeah, these are fine.
Just because I did answer the question when you asked it, as far as my cow looks to him, I find the customization's funny, but I didn't really find a lot of the hair and facial hair stuff to be all that good, just because for people that like to make their characters look goofy, I'm not a big fan of doing it myself, so I didn't really change much. I changed his hairstyle to the one that he had in the first game when he first got introduced because I thought that was more interesting. But other than that, I kind of kept him as the game gives them to me when it first starts off with the light stubble.
The stubble. Yeah.
I will. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. I do like the outfit customization though. That's the other part of it. Similar to the lightsabers, you go around, you unlock the pants, shirt, and the colors that they can be. Those are the ones you can find around the world. I'm a big fan of the Nomad outfit, but I changed kind of later on. That came with the game. I enjoy the Wanderer outfit, which is kind of just like a hood almost, and like a little bit of a half poncho on the back of them. Just fun little stuff like that.
I just recently unlocked the color customization for that outfit, so I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I agree with you on the facial hair. I didn't see a lot of facial hair stuff that I was like, oh, that looks dope. Like, so for me, it was like either go like with the light stubble that he comes with in the game, go with the short beard, or go with the big beard. Like the goatees and the mustache and the short beard, like the only short goatee or whatever. All of those looked awful to me. Like, I really did not like any of the beard options on there, other than like stubble, short beard, big beard. I currently have, or I very early got the big beard, and I got the man bun, and I don't know why, but I like it, and I like the man bun, and I like the big beard, and I've had that from very early in the beginning, and I've kind of kept it the whole way through, and I keep looking through the options and going, is there anything here that I like better or that I want to switch it up with? And I keep going, no, I don't want to, and that might just be because of the character of Cal. This is 5 years after the last game, so he's been out running around doing his own thing. And so I kind of have this feeling of okay, he's a Jedi survivor, he's out there being hunted by the Empire. He doesn't have time to be well kept and keep his beard trim and his hair cut. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, he probably went, at some point he made the choice, fuck it. Bun, beard. That's what I am,
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, right? And that's just kind of what I like. In terms of the outfit, I don't know the name of it. It's like a vest. There's like a vest. I have it colored yellow. It's like a vest with a scarf. And it has a nice little torn up scarf. That's what I have. And then his shirt comes is rolled up to past his elbow, and he's got bracers on his arms. And then the pants are, I believe they're called the commando pants, where the legs have the battle armor on it, but he's got a little sash hanging off his hip. That's sort of the one I've been looking at. And if you look at the B-roll that we're showing, you can see it on the podcast. But BD1, I don't know why, I pimped BD1 out. BD1 is this nice shiny purple metal with a nice gold trim to him, and my blaster is the same way. Wooden grip, purple, gold, all of that. My lightsaber, I'm a green guy. I love the green saber. It's a great one. It's just something to me. Lightsabers and green sabers are the best. I keep trying to bounce around, and I'm like, nah, man, I gotta go green. That's the one. I try to keep it wooden in base, so it's a wooden lightsaber. It took me a long time to find the wooden customization option, so I for a long time was rocking with just the starter wood palette. But since then, I've added some leather coatings to it. I've added some red metal on the grip and so forth. And the pieces, I could break those down too, but we'll be here all day talking about the different pieces that are on there. I'm just so happy with the customization in this game. I can't wait for New Game Plus so I can play the whole game with Cal looking like this, with my lightsaber looking like this, as opposed to in the early hours him being the default, and then him going into this almost where I want him, but not quite, because I just don't have all the pieces yet. And then the final part is where I'm like, yeah, this is Cal Kestis to me. But it's also a weird thing. I don't understand why they give us all this customization when they have clearly defined the character of Cal Kestis. There is no changing the character of Cal Kestis at all. He is who he is. There's no dialogue options outside of some moments where you can force trick people, which I think is just flavor text, because I've never failed a force mind control thing. Never once have I failed that option, even though they give you a binary option of what to tell them. always works. So I'm like, all right, well then why did you give me the choice? Like, when there's no other choices in this game. But especially I want to commend the final third of the game. Narratively is where it really starts kicking up and getting really, really interesting. And they start playing with those Star Wars themes that I love that they play with. There's great character moments, big moments where, you know, things that I wasn't expecting to happen in this game happen in this game. And it was dope. It was really, really dope. The best boss fight happens in the later third of the game. Connor, how are you feeling on the difficulty of the game? What difficulty are you playing on, and how are you feeling about it?
Hard, and I'm happy I went hard because I don't think normal would be way too easy.
Yeah.
Going through it because it's not. Like I said, certain parts can be difficult, especially the bosses. But outside of that, you know, if I were to go in normal, I'd just be clearing through everything, and I'd have no issue in any combat encounter whatsoever. Whereas as on hard, I only occasionally, when there's certain enemy types compromising the enemy group that you're fighting against, that's when I start having issues with the game.
Yeah.
Difficulty-wise.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm playing on hard. I believe they call it Jedi Master. I remember when Fallen Order came to PS5, I replayed that on Grandmaster, which was a difficulty they added later on, and it's here from the jump here. But I was like, you know what? I want to enjoy Jedi Survivor. I don't want to get my teeth kicked in. Overall, I don't think the difficulty is even that high on hard mode, on Jedi Master mode. You know, I would die every so often, occasionally. Rarely would I die to the smaller guys, the mobs, but sometimes I would. Boss fights, the beasts again were the only ones that I had trouble with because they're so much stronger, and their attack radius is so much larger. The more humanoid opponents, I didn't have that much trouble with. Outside of the best boss in the game who whooped my ass. And I'm so excited for you to get there, Connor. The best boss whooped my ass. But, like, the best boss is not the final boss. And the final boss fucking smoked him. Like, that was easy. And so, yeah, there were two humanoid fights that I had trouble with. And that took multiple attempts. Everyone else, never took more than 2 attempts. And most of them only took 1. But I do also kind of like that because it's a Star Wars story we're telling. When the best fight in the game, narratively, like, should be difficult. But because I kept dying and respawning and starting over and dying and respawning, I lost narrative momentum with that. So I guess that's why From Software games don't have a focus on story, because they want you to get your teeth kicked in and be stuck on a boss for a couple of days or whatever, you know. Whereas this, they want you to get to the end of the game. They do. They want you to see the credits.
So, this is not who the boss is, but it's a cool idea for a boss if they do a third game, which they might not even do because I have not beaten the game, which is Vader. But an action.
You just think it would be a cool fight?
Like I'm gonna spoil the first game. Because if you're watching the review, I'm assuming you probably played it or at least have knowledge of it. Darth Vader's chase scene in the first one. It'd be nice if it comes around full scope and have you find him again, but on equal terms, and ultimately have you die. Cal Kestis dying, which would be kind of like a anticlimactic ending of like, oh, but realistic ending of the guy who goes around killing powerful Jedi and enemies is the one who does it again.
Vader should be that guy, and I mean, like Cal Kestis in the first one was so small potatoes that like. Yeah. He would not have appeared on Vader's radar. He just happened to, Vader just happened to find him on the final base or whatever. And I think even by the end of this game, I don't think Cal is quite to that power level yet where he would attract Vader. But I think by the end, he's getting there. He's on his way. So I'm very interested to see where they take this third game and if Cal and Darth Vader are to meet again. And so on and so forth. So I'm very excited for. I'm excited to continue exploring in Star Wars with this type of gameplay. I really like this gameplay, and there were many moments in the game that were high adrenaline moments. You know, it's no secret that Fallen Order was kind of a mismatch of a bunch of different types of games. It was a little bit Sekiro. It was a little bit Uncharted. It was a little bit. Metroid Prime. This one, it's still all of those things, just improved, and everything kind of gels together a little better. But there were moments where I was like, shit, this is better than most Uncharted games. There were moments where I'm like, this is better than most Metroidvanias, you know?
And all they have to do is put Star Wars code on it, and you'll be panting like a dog.
No, there really is legitimate moments where I'm like, this is better than the inspirations they come from. Like,
No, yeah.
I don't think there's
Uncharted.
I don't think there's anything that gets better than a Sekiro or a FromSoft game. Like, I still think, like, we're still pining for that. But this is a good one. Like, of a Soulsborne game, this is a good one. Like, it's a good one. Certainly better than the last one in terms of, like, just timing of parries and general combat mechanics and so forth. How do you feel? They made the decision to take the roll out. Cal doesn't roll. He just kind of dashes away twice. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Like, do you have any idea of why that could be? Or because you've played all the FromSoft games and I haven't, so I don't know.
Maybe it's to make its own identity and also to fit with the types of enemies that you're fighting against, since maybe it wouldn't play out the same way if you rolled.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I remember the roll like being kind of janky in Fallen Order. So I wonder if there's something to it being a dash instead of a roll makes it better. Maybe because it's a little faster.
Yeah, I would think so, because one thing that I actually would like the game to have more of is air movement, air attacks, because you're a Jedi, you're jumping around, and it seems like there's lots of areas where they could make gameplay a lot more exciting, but I would kind of limited by doing those things.
Have you, I don't want to spoil it, but there's skills that, like, they don't give you what you're looking for, but there's skills that hint more towards what you're talking about.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah.
Got them yet.
You haven't got them yet. Okay, yeah.
So I see them and I'm like, oh, they're not like that. They're not what I'm looking for, as you said. So I was.
There's no full on like Devil May Cry. I'm in the air juggling dudes. There's never that. But like you do have opportunities where enemies will go into the air and you can jump up and hit them and so forth. But yeah, it's nothing crazy like that. I like how the game didn't depower you from the last one. Cal is the same, pretty much. They've changed a few things around. You no longer have the slow ability just tied to a button press. It's now treated more like an ultimate ability from like Overwatch or something, where there's a meter that builds up and you use it, and instead of it working on one enemy, it works on everybody. It's like a like an area of effect thing that I really, really like, and that gets better as you go along as well. A lot of really cool tricks that they've added to like your first force push and force pull that are really fun to play with. One in particular in the stream, I'll spoil this. There's an ability you can get with force pull. You can force pull a guy and bring him towards you and have him in your grip. If they have a gun as their weapon, like a minigun or a blaster or whatever, you can get an ability which allows you to force pull, hold them, and then turn him around and force him to shoot his comrades. And I love that ability so much. I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, you have a minigun? Great. Thank you. Like, everybody is dropping dead because of this. It's so great.
Turn their strengths against it.
There's some, like, little small, really small side activities in the game, which are neat. They're not, like, super great or engaging. You can take it or leave it, but I'm enjoying playing around with it. There's a little garden that you can run in and plant different seeds that you're finding across the world. It's fine. It's whatever. You kind of,
It's for who wants it.
Yeah, right. Like there was an element of that in the original game, but like if you blinked, you missed it. It was a very small thing. And this one, it's expanded upon. You get to pick what plants and where you want them and how you want them. But you don't get a lot more than that, other than just planting them. And you kind of set it and forget it. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to like edit them once you've put them down. Like you can't take them out, which I think is weird, but whatever. There's a little like tactics mini game in the what is it called? The saloon, which is like your base. That you can go in, and it's it's called Holo Tactics. It's their attempt at a Gwent type thing where you have you start a round, and it's basically just putting the AI against the AI. Like you're just watching the AI fight itself, but like there will be multiple rounds. You have a certain number of points that you can use per round, and you can use them on any enemies you've defeated and scanned. So like You'll start out with a real basic card set, but as you adventure through the world and scan dead enemies that you've defeated, those enemies get added to your deck, and you get to use them, and each enemy has a different number of points. And, so, like, a round will start, and it'll be like, oh, your opponent has a droid and 2 stormtroopers. Like, how do you want to tackle this? And you could counter that with your own stormtroopers, or any type of beasts, or any type of droids, anybody you fought along the way, dark troopers and so forth. Eventually, it gets to the point where, like, after you've beaten a certain number of, like, beasts, and the point values start increasing to where you can start using those beasts, you just kind of spam those beasts and just throw them at them and, like, so forth. It's not, like, you don't have to do a lot of thinking, but it's, like, a fun, like, action figures, smash them together type experience, and it's cute. It's fine. There's enough... There are rewards for winning them, and I think that's enough to justify playing it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of RNG during those things.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. There's definitely times where I'm like, clearly this unit is stronger, but he lost because the AI didn't do the super move. Or, the real basic units have grenades, and those grenades are the bane of my existence. Because it'll destroy my units. But also, goddamn, the grenades in the main game are annoying as fuck as well.
At least you have a way to deal with it there.
Yeah, for sure. With a good, like, force push or whatever, yeah. I love the Super Battle Droid, Connor. I don't know about you. I'm a big fan of the Super Battle Droid. And their inclusion in this game is great. They work just how you want them to. It's fantastic.
They're nice.
So, yeah, you were using dual wield and crossguard. That's what you were all about? Yeah? All right, yeah, I was... That. Yeah, I was blaster and dual wield. So but I'm seeing a lot of people be very diverse with their picks. Like, some people are the dual blade, which I do. I miss the dual blade just because the minigun guys you could take out a lot easier with the deflecting bullets. You can't do that with the other ones. God, and I really wanted to use the crossguard, but it's just too slow for me. I'm too vulnerable. I don't like how vulnerable I am. Even though the crossguard has the best defense. It just, it just has other things going on. So, anyways. Connor, anything else you want to mention with our review here with Jedi Star Wars Survivor?
One thing. I'm a Star Wars lover.
Okay.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a lover of it. For you, quick question for you, Tavin. Did you ever watch the Jenny Tarkovsky animated show back in the day?
The old Clone Wars joint? Yeah.
Once again, kind of a spoiler. You might want to skip ahead. Ravens.
Man!
That was the only time I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, as far as, like, Star Wars lore stuff happens, because I'm a big fan of that old Jenny Tarkovsky animation. And that, what was his name?
Oh, I don't think he had one. I think it was just the Hunter or something.
He was of the race that Ravis is. And it was cool to see that brought back. It even shocked me when he cut off his hand, I was like, oh, Ravis got injured. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's injured.
Ravis gets his arms cut off a lot.
yeah. And when he fixed it, I was like, oh, he's that guy. He's that race of being.
Have you done his boss fight yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
Is he the best boss, Tavin?
No.
He's probably. Oh,
but he is the other boss that gave me trouble.
Oh.
In a good way.
Okay.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. So.
That was just a really cool moment.
Yeah, I nerded out on that too, where I was like, oh, it's one of those guys. Cool. Nice reference. Clearly different. Clearly, like, we've changed how that species works. I think in the Clone Wars cartoon, it was, like, more supposed to be like a lab experiment or something. And this, it's a full-on race of alien or whatever. But, I really enjoyed seeing that in this game. I enjoyed seeing a lot in this game. I'm very happy with this game, and it's captured my heart. And it's gonna, if it only ran better, that's my thing. If it only just ran better, frame rates, glitches, if all of that was minimized, and just general game performance was improved, this would be far and away one of my favorite games ever. But it's not, because of these reasons. And I'm excited for the finale of this trilogy. I'm excited for one more, like, to just see what they do. See what happens, because I'm just curious as to, I heard someone explain, if the first one is you becoming a Jedi Knight, this one is going from Jedi Knight to Jedi Master. And I'm excited where we push the boundaries in the next one and how we push the boundaries in the next one. I think it'd be interesting because now I'm just theorizing, and so light spoilers. So if you don't like, very light spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, click off. Go away. 3, 2, 1. I'd be excited, Connor, in the future for they have several hints in this game of like Cal goes, man, everybody can fly but me. So I'm very interested if they're gonna give him a jetpack in the future. If maybe there will be a stance where it's like he's dual pistols and jetpack like Bode is or something. I think that'd be really interesting. But yeah, I think there's I still feel like Respawn, they did everything in this game that they wanted to do in the last game. And I still feel like they have ideas. They're still like, oh, but it would be cool if we could do this, but we don't have time for that right now. Like, whereas the last game I felt was like, this is all we could do. Like, we duct taped this bad boy together, and here you go. Hope you like it. This one, it definitely feels more like a complete vision. This one is much more like, here's all of the ideas we wanted to implement in the first one. And some more. Here you go. There's one boss fight in particular that had me laughing so hard. And I was like, this is awesome. This is clearly like they had fun. Respawn had a lot of fun putting this game together.
Have I not gotten to that?
No, you have not gotten to that. Not yet. Almost. You're about to get, oh no, you haven't even fought Raves yet. No, you still got some time to go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our Star Wars Jedi Survivor review. Let us know down in the comments how you felt about Star Wars Jedi Survivor, how you felt about if you had any trouble with performance, glitches, bugs. Are you just waiting for patches to come out and playing it a little later, which is probably the smart thing to do. And what else are you excited for this year? Let us know. This is also going to be the end of the Two Penny Games cast, which you can catch every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/@2pennygames, and mainstream podcast services of your choice. Watch us record them live at twitch.tv/2pennygames, 4 o'clock on Sundays, 4 o'clock Central Time, Sunday, we're running right up to 7 today. And then until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Thanks for watching.
Come on. Come on. All right, bye.